Hello, this is Adam Reuter, and I'm here today with the founder of Baltimore Cop Block, Lauren, and we're going to talk about how police are trained liars.
They are trained to be deceptive with the public. And if you lie to a police officer, that's a horrific felony. You're not allowed to do that. Well, if you lie to the feds, it's a felony. If you lie to the police, you know what I mean?
But it's against the law regardless.
It's against the law. You can't, if you lie in court, if you lie to a police officer in an investigation, it all depends. But
well, I remember Casey Anthony got that charge against her.
Yeah, it depends on when, where, what cops you lie to.
Right.
But you can't. But they are trained how to lie.
And they're allowed to lie to you.
Yes, they're allowed to, and they're trained to
legally allowed to lie to you, but you cannot lie to them.
Yep. My favorite one that they do all the time is when you give them the "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" They'll say, "Well, I wouldn't recommend you go anywhere." That didn't answer my question. They're like politicians when it comes to their words. So even if they're not lying, a lot of times they'll be deliberately deceptive. Like, or when they ask to search your car, they'll say, "You don't mind if I search your car, do you?" Like,
right, it's a question, not a demand.
Right. Like, or they'll say they're just very slick with their words a lot of times. And yes, they are allowed to lie. That's why you never answer any questions. A cop asks you if they take you into the police station, especially in suspicion of a crime, never answer any questions. Get your lawyer there, because they'll even the little statement, what you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. It's not can or will. It's can and will. We will use this against you. They tell you before you talk, we're going to use this against you.
And it's not for you.
No.
It's against you.
You will never, it doesn't say this could be used to help you.
Right, because what ends up happening is if your defense attorney, let's say you're accused of a crime, your defense attorney will say, well, did my client not say to you during the interrogation, so-and-so?
Yeah.
And the police or the judge might actually say, that's not admissible, it's hearsay. But they'll allow the police officer all the evidence against you, but nothing to support you.
Yeah, so you might think you're helping yourself, but you're not.
Right.
You say, well, if I tell him this, he'll understand. Well, that'll may never make it to court, what you say.
Yep, and the problem is, and there's a great video on YouTube that most of us are familiar, well, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of people are familiar with. It's called Never Speak to the Police. It's about an hour-long video, but don't let ADHD get in the way.
No, it's really good.
It's it has a defense attorney and a retired police officer speaking about why, even if you're completely innocent of a crime, do not speak to the police, without a lawyer.
At all.
Or at all.
Mostly without a lawyer, but usually at all.
Because if you talk to them when there's no cameras rolling, or even if there are, you can incriminate yourself in some way, and it has happened. I'm involved with the Innocence Project, where that type of thing has happened to people who were completely innocent of and they ended up going to jail for murder and rape.
And they're not trying to get you to tell them the truth. They're trying to get you to tell them what they want you to say.
Well, yeah,
they don't go in there asking you questions like, well, what happened? They're trying to get you to say.
Well, they're not even accusing you necessarily, but if you say, well, I don't have an alibi, or I was here, or whatever, they might try to start connecting dots that aren't there to begin with.
Yeah.
And again, even if you're completely innocent, don't do it.
Yeah, and even at like a checkpoint, when they come up and they say, "Have you been drinking today?" Don't say anything. Say, "Am I being detained? Or am I free to go?" Mm-hmm. You don't have to answer the question, because if you say no because you're nervous and you had a beer earlier that day, well, now you're lying. In your brain, no, I'm not drunk, but that's not what he asked you. Are you drunk? He asked you if you had a drink today. They'll pull you up on those little technicalities like that. Or, where were you at this time? And if you think you're somewhere and then you're 15 minutes off, they'll be like, they'll make up all kinds of stuff you could have done in that 15 minutes. And to you, it's just being off a little bit.
Yeah, I have a natural stutter.
Yeah.
If I speak at my natural pace, like right now I'm trying to go slower so I don't stutter.
Yeah.
And that hurt me in court, I think. Listening back on the audio recording of one of the court trials, I was stuttering, and that's just how I normally talk.
Yeah, I have a bit of Tourette, so I'm the same way. Like when I got pulled over last time, I would do like a throat clearing thing when I get real nervous. And I'm gonna do it because I talked about it. I have to do it. Sorry, but So the cop was like, "What's wrong with you? Why do you keep coughing? And what are you doing?" You know, so he perceived my little tics as me being nervous. So a lot of times you're best off just not talking at all if you can help it, and calling a lawyer.
One of the unfortunate things that I don't know how it was decided, but the Supreme Court heard a case about whether or not somebody not talking could be admitted as evidence of
now it can
something. It can. So
what happened was whether someone's silence can be used to as evidence of their guilt, and they decided that your silence can be used as evidence of your guilt. It's the craziest thing on the face of the planet. Now, the way around that, apparently, or something, is that you have to say, "I am exercising my right to be silent." You have to say it. If you don't say it, then they can use it against you.
And they can keep questioning you.
And they can, so you actually have to say out loud, "I'm exercising my right to be silent," and then be silent. You can't just be silent.
Right, because what people don't remember is that if you invoke it, you still have to remain silent.
You still have to. If you invoke it and keep talking, that's your stupid fault.
And there was a South Park episode, I think it was last week, and they were talking about how crazy it was with the NSA and all that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, and it was Cartman was posting everything. He had this piece of equipment that was channeling all his thoughts to Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he was like yelling at the NSA, was invading his privacy. Yeah. So even though all his thoughts were being sent to this thing, he was still mad about that, and it was hilarious too. And they had the word Maryland in South Park. Yeah, they had because they had Cartman ended up going to the NSA headquarters.
Yeah. You have to be responsible and accountable for yourself too. It's not just cop block isn't just about police accountability. It's about being accountable for yourself. Like, you need to know your own rights, because nobody's going to baby feed them to you, especially not the police.
No, because
so you have to shut your mouth and know what you're supposed to do.
It's tough to do it for some people.
I mean, you need to be accountable for yourself as much as you hold the police accountable.
Another example, and this is something that I've told my friends before. Luckily, we've never got arrested as a group or some of my friends have been arrested individually, but I've told them if we're ever doing something and we're all arrested, they're going to try to say, "Well, your friend so-and-so said this to us already, so don't worry about it."
Yeah.
And they say that all the time. Again, they're trained liars. So your best bet really is to not talk to them at all, because it's just a bad idea. Now, if you're trying to help, like if, let's say, one of your family members got lost, it's a totally different situation.
That's different. Yeah,
but if they, like Lauren said at the beginning, if they're investigating a crime, that's when you zip the lips.
Yeah, but like on my way to Vermont to speak about cop block a couple months ago, we got pulled over because I didn't have my seatbelt on, because I took it off to pick something up off the floor, because the seatbelt was doing that like thing where it won't let you move, so I had to take it off to get the ticket off the floor to pay the toll. He didn't want to hear it. I had my seatbelt off for 10 seconds. So anyway, so he separates us. That's the big thing. They'll pull the passenger out, put him against the police car, and then up there. And then he asks her, "Well, how long have you guys been friends?" It sounds like just conversation to you. If you're not trained to know that these cops are trying to get you guys to say something different, so he can use that as an excuse to do whatever he wants, check the car, whatever, just say, "I'm not going to answer your questions. Do you want to run my stuff?" But she told him one thing and I told him another thing. I said probably about a year, a little less than a year, and she said, I don't know, a couple of months. So apparently a little less than a year and a couple of months was just conflicting to him.
And people's memories work differently.
Right.
I can remember certain things down to the day.
Yeah, I couldn't remember when I started talking to her.
Like girls will they'll know like the day that you started dating. Like, hey, it's our 1 month anniversary. I'm like, was that a month ago?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they try to trip you up on that kind of stuff. And
but I'll remember when I bought that camera. I will remember when I bought that camera.
Yeah.
I bought it July 7th. I don't know. I don't know what day it was, but July 2008.
But they try to catch you up on little things like that really you think don't really have anything to do with the crime and won't incriminate you, but they'll find a way to make it incriminate you. So it's better just to not answer even "how are you doing today" if it's really an interrogation situation.
Right.
I'm not saying don't do that, and when they pull you over for something, don't be that bad. I mean, some people are. Some people that cop block and enter into this whole thing think you shouldn't answer any questions ever. But I'm not that strict about it.
I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people who do that, they just want to be like a YouTube attention whore.
They don't want to get away safely. They don't want everything to be resolved well. They just want a bunch of views on their YouTube or something like that.
Is it really worth it to get an arrest record to have like 1 million views or just a couple thousand?
I have to approach my cop blocking differently because of I have a record. Mm-hmm. And like, if I get in trouble, I don't get bail and get out. Like a lot of activists that just have a bunch of little activist charges, you know what I mean? So I have to be a little bit more careful. I can't afford to go to jail because I won't even get bail probably.
Well, everybody should anyway, in my opinion.
But I mean, I feel like I tailor mine a little bit because of that too, because I don't want to not get bail.
Like, I don't blame you're smart.
Yeah. I mean, I was told by
this is life. This is life, man. This ain't YouTube and
right. The last commissioner I was in front of told me if you spit on the sidewalk, they're not going to give you bail. Just so you know.
What?
Yeah, because there was a bunch of FTs and things like that. Certain things that she said shows I have no respect for law enforcement. So therefore, they don't think that I'll ever respect my court dates. So. We'll see if I ever get arrested again, but so far I've been okay.
Crossing your fingers.
For sure.
So there you go. Again, let's repeat it. Do not speak to the police.
Nope.
It's bad.
Bad, really bad.
Sorry, police.
It doesn't end well for you ever.
Sorry, police, but I'd rather talk to I don't know, somebody else.
You can talk to my lawyer.
Yeah, that's it. Talk to my lawyer. Like remember what the rich women and the rich men say. Talk to my lawyer. Even if it's the public defender.
It's better than nothing.
That's right.